Hi guys, my name is Jamie. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day hanging out with me here on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a few products that I wish my favorite brands would release. The first brand I want to talk about is Stila. I feel like Stila has become well known for the magnificent metals, glitter and glow liquid shimmer eyeshadows. I do love these glitters and I have quite a few shades. I've picked up some from their mini holiday sets with Sephora, some from TJ Maxx, and then some full-size products. The only gripe that I have about these is it's like 20 something dollars for a full-size glitter. Realistically, I know myself and a lot of people aren't going to use up a full size. I really wish Stila would come out with mini individual sizes of their glitter. Although they do come out with the mini-sized holiday sets, I bought the one this year that had the rose gold, gold, and silver, and those personally wouldn't have been the mini colors that I would have picked had they all been available. I think the concept of having the mini glitters would allow people to experiment more with the colors, and then if you absolutely fall in love with one, you can even buy the full size. But having the minis would allow you to have a bigger collection of the Stila ones and really get full use out of your product. Another brand is Fenty Beauty. Fenty Beauty really shook up the makeup community when they released their foundation in 40 different shades. I think it reminded all brands that you need to make foundations so everybody's able to use your product, and to expand your shade range to cover light skin tones and deeper skin tones. The only issue with the Fenty Beauty foundation is that it's extremely matte. I have really dry skin, especially during the winter time, and I can't wear a matte foundation. It just doesn't work for me. Therefore, I haven't been able to try the Fenty foundation. Because of its expansive shade range, I know I'd be able to find a color that would be the perfect match for me, so I'd love it if they released a dewy formula. I think a lot of people would like the dewy formula because then you'd be able to cater to multiple skin types. The dry skin type would be able to have the dewy foundation, while the more oily skin type would have the current matte foundation. With such a great shade range, I know a lot of people will be able to get good use out of this foundation. So I'm crossing my fingers that Fenty will release a dewy foundation because I would 100% pick one up. Speaking of foundations, one of my favorite foundations of all time is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I love how buildable and hydrating it is. I can get a lighter coverage for everyday wear and then build it up to full coverage for my glam looks. The only issue with foundations in general is that I usually get more tan during the summer, so sometimes I even need to buy an entire new foundation. I really wish that Too Faced would come out with foundation mixers. That way you could add a few drops into your foundation to make sure it's the perfect shade for you year round, instead of having to buy an entire new bottle. It becomes kind of wasteful when you have to buy multiple foundations a year just to have it match your current skin tone, but adding a few drops in to make it the perfect match would be much more convenient. You would also be able to match the foundation to your perfect undertone, adding more yellow to make it more golden or more red to make it pink. I'd love to see Too Faced come out with this because they recently expanded their Born This Way line with YouTuber Jackie Aina, and it is one of my favorite foundations. Colored Rain is a small indie brand that makes my favorite liquid lipstick formula. The lipstick literally lasts all day, and they have such a great color range. They have your nudes, your reds, and your pinks, your more wearable colors, and then your greens, blues, purples, and even blacks and browns. I really wish that Colored Rain would come out with colored lip liners. I have some of their more interesting lip colors like purples and browns and greens, but I've always wanted to pair them with a lip liner to make sure that it really lasts all day and doesn't move outside my lip line. But where am I going to find a green lip liner? Because Colored Rain has such an expansive lipstick formula, I'd love to see them match it with colored lip liners. I also love their lipstick formula, so I'd hope that I'd love their lip liner formula as well. I could also mix it with other lipsticks from different brands to make sure that they stay just as well. Speaking of lipsticks, Ofra Cosmetics is known for their long-lasting hydrating lipstick formula. They've also collaborated with a lot of different YouTubers to make multiple unique shades. I love the Ofra liquid lipstick formula. I was skeptical about it at first, but then I bought some shades off Haute Look and they would quickly become staples in my collection. I would love to see Ofra capitalize on how popular the lipsticks are by making bullet lipsticks. Like Colored Rain, Ofra has a lot to offer in terms of shade range. They have your wearable colors, your unwearable colors, and they even have a whole metallic range. Being able to put that in a bullet lipstick would allow people who don't like liquid lipsticks to still experience how great Ofra's formula is. It's really nourishing and lasts quite long for a lipstick that's not traditionally drying. I really wish Ofra would come out with bullet lipsticks because I think bullet lipsticks are something we're going to see a lot of in 2019. The next brand that I want to talk about is Juvia's Place. Juvia's Place is an indie brand that's known for their eyeshadow palette formula, and rightfully so. They're so pigmented and blendable. The only issue with Juvia's Place is that their eyeshadows are so big. I bought the Masquerade Mini palette, which isn't even that small. Their normal palette pan size is much bigger than your traditional MAC and Makeup Geek size single eyeshadow. Because their palettes are so big, the Masquerade palette that I have sits at the bottom of my palettes and I hardly ever reach for it, and it's definitely not something that I would take traveling with me. Juvia's Place recently came out with a mini Nubian palette, although I think this was because Nikki Tutorials is working with the Allure Beauty Box to create a beauty box for herself. I really wish that Juvia's Place would continue this trend and make smaller eyeshadow palettes. These 6-pan eyeshadow palettes are perfect for traveling, and they have a curated color scheme which really gets me inspired to use it. I'd be much more inclined to use a 6-pan palette. I hope they come out with minis of their Magic palette and their Zulu palette. The next brand that I want to talk about is Anastasia Beverly Hills. Anastasia is one of my favorite high-end brands, and most of the products that I try for them end up being holy grail statuses. One of the Anastasia products I love is their glow kits. I have the Aurora Glow Kit, which is very glittery and has your more unique colors, and then the Sweets Glow Kit, which was their holiday release for 2017. The 4-pan glow kits, like the Sweet Glow Kits, are magnetized so you can pop out the shades and take it with you in a smaller palette to travel. Glow kits are great, but they do have a flaw. Sometimes they try to make the glow kits cater to all skin tones, so they have a lighter shade, a medium deep shade, and a deep shade. That's great for a working makeup artist who has to do makeup on all different skin tones for different clientele, but for the average consumer, they're only doing makeup on themselves. Therefore, you could only make use out of 1, maybe even 2 shades of the palette, so half of the palette is rendered useless. Because they're magnetized, I wish that Anastasia would sell refills for her glow kits. You could always refill your favorite shade if you run out of it, but that way, if you gravitate towards one shade in the palette, you could buy that one individually, instead of buying a whole palette and not being able to use half the shades. Because the Anastasia glow kits tend to be around the $40 range, I think that the refills would probably be marketed around $10-ish a piece, and I think that price range would be really reasonable for a lot of customers. Anastasia is also a super trend-setting brand. The modern renaissance really paved the way for the warm neutral palettes, and their Norvina palette kicked off the purple trend. So I think that if Anastasia came out with different releases, they'd be able to set trends for the beauty community. One of the products that I'm really getting into are creams. Cream highlighter, cream blush, and cream bronzer. Anastasia has come out with cream highlighter, their liquid glow, which I haven't bought, but it's definitely on my radar. I would love to see Anastasia come out with cream blush and cream bronzer. Because their powder bronzers come in such a variety of ranges for different skin tones, I think that their cream bronzers would also come in a great shade range. Cream products look much more natural in the skin, especially during the winter time when we are all dry as anything. And the last brand that I want to talk about is Tarte Cosmetics. I feel like if Tarte is known for anything, it's their Amazonian clay blushes. They're highly raved about because they last for 12 hours, and they definitely do. Other blushes are typically the first thing to go on the skin, but the Tarte blushes last from morning to night. I wish Tarte would take the knowledge of how well their blushes last and make them into a cream formula. Like I said, the cream blushes tend to be more natural in the skin. You can definitely build them up, and they just look more flattering, especially when your skin's drier. If Tarte was able to use that same Amazonian clay formula and make it into a cream blush, I think that'd be a smash hit. What are some products you'd like to see your favorite brands release? Please let me know down below. I plan on posting 2 videos a week, so I hope to see you back. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in our next video.